Full disclaimer, this one's going to be educational. I'm sorry. It's towards the end. But I promise you'll have a lot of very, very useless facts by the end of this talk, things you may never have thought of. Anyway, nothing rhymes with orange, right? So if you actually look at Oxford Dictionary, it says orange has almost no perfect rhymes. There's only one word that could even come close, and that's a very obscure word, sporange. So that's it. I mean, it's nothing really rhymes with it. But orange is extremely popular. You probably have heard of, Orange is the New Black, the Orange County, the actual county. This shirt that I'm wearing is from a software visualization called Orange. But orange is also very influential in history and politics. The guy in the middle there is William of Orange, and he's been linked to several countries and is a very important historical character. And so one of the things that William of Orange did is during the 80 Years' War, that's the war in which the Netherlands liberated itself from Spain. He was a major factor there, and because of that, the country's color now, the favorite color, is orange. Actually, William of Orange also is instrumental in fighting a war in Ireland called the Williamite War. And this was a war between the Protestants and the Catholics, and he was instrumental there. And the orange of the color of Ireland is also because of him. In South African history, a bunch of Dutch people went to South Africa and colonized it first, and then the English came and they had a huge war, the Boer War, and for a while they had a small country called the Orange Free State. But orange, the fruit, which the orange, the color is named after, originally came from China, and then it went to India where it was used for pickling. So there is my spice tie-in right there, so get off my back, Bridget. So then it came to Persia, which is right next door to India, and there it was named Narang. And the Persian Empire fell, and then and then the area was controlled by the Arab Islamic Empire. And in Arabic, you can't really say the hard G, Narang, so that was changed to Naranj. However, in most of the Arab world, the word for orange is the word for Portugal, the country. Why is that the case? Well, if you look at this handy graph right here, just look at it this way. Came from India, went to Iran, Arabic world, and then it went over here, and then the town that was called Orange, where William Orange came from, was named after the fruit because it was adopted in Europe and it was very popular. In 1494, Spain and Portugal decided to divide the whole world between themselves, and then the part of it that was given to Portugal, that was the Eurasian landmass, pretty much, was visited by all these Portuguese explorers, and everywhere they went, there were sailors, they were crafty sailors. They had all these ports to call, and they had to protect themselves from scurvy, which is something you get in the sea. And so orange has citrus, and they started taking oranges with them and planting them and getting people to plant them so they can buy oranges. And so in their entire Portuguese Empire, all of the ports that they visited, including all the ones in the Middle East and all the ones in East Asia, they imported this fruit, this version that they had grown in Europe that originally came from China, but now they called it, the local people called it Portugal, because it was associated with the Portuguese coming in and trading with them. So now if you look at this going this way, you see orange comes back to Portugal, from Portugal, and it goes all the way down to Middle East and rest of the world, and now those countries are calling it Portugal. Incidentally, the currency also traveled. That's why you got Brazil and Iran both having the same currency. The name of the currency is called real, and that's because of the Portuguese influence. Meanwhile, the Spanish, who owned the other half of the world, took took orange with them, and then they planted it in Florida and in California, where the climate was nice. That's why you have Disneyland both in Florida and California, both in orange counties there, right? That's the reason. And then the British Empire showed up. The British Empire kind of one-upped everybody else and said, you know, what's even better than orange is a lime, right? So that's why we call those guys limeys. And so, any limeys in the room? No? Okay. So Anyway, the orange, the story of orange is very, very vast. It's traveled all around the world. But I find it really, really interesting that it's originated from the eastern part of the world, and then it came back in a roundabout way to the eastern part of the world with a European name.